All right, welcome everybody. Really happy to have Plymouth County Commissioners Greg HANLEY and SANDRA WRIGHT here today, along with Treasurer O'Brien, Representative Kearney, Town Administrator Mike Moresco, and Treasurer Patrick Del Russo to receive $1.125 million in CARES Act reimbursement funds for the town of Marshfield. So that being said, we're happy to have you. We're happy to have your check, and we want to hand it over to Greg HANLEY or Sandra to speak about that.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's really a pleasure to be here. For those of you who don't know, on March 27th, the United States Congress passed the largest relief bill in the history of the United States, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, the CARES Act. And as part of that, it was a $2 trillion package. As part of that, they released $150 billion for local, state, and county government. And we wanted to make sure, and the commissioners tasked me, they said, Treasurer, make sure that we apply for and receive money, because we know our 27 communities in Plymouth County really need that resource. And with their guidance, and with the support we received from Representative Kearney and from Senator O'Connor, and his office is here as well, and the Senator wishes he could be here, but he's in session right now, so he sent his able staff along. And then, of course, with our local champions, and this is very important, this wouldn't have happened without the local champions that we have, particularly here in Marshfield. Chairman Bradley is the chairman of our advisory board, so he knows firsthand the work we do in the county and how important our role here is to get the money, to receive the money from the federal level, and to bring it back here. And then, of course, you have a fantastic town administrator with Mike Moresco, who knows the inner workings of the federal government, the state government, county government, local government. And then, of course, you have a great treasurer with Patrick Del Russo. He's been a real pleasure to work with, and understood that it was important for the county to get these resources. So again, with the guidance of the commissioners, we applied for, on April 15th, our percentage of the CARES Act funds. We received on April 24th, $90 million. Then the real work began, right? We have $90 million. Our job is to begin to get that out to our communities. We know this pandemic has caused and wrought havoc around the world, and we understand the personal loss, the hospitalizations, the loss of life. We know the economic impact, and we feel that in a very real way. But sometimes we don't realize the impact on our local governments, the services that they provide, the way they had to react to this pandemic, the way that our frontline workers had to step up and make sure that they continue to provide services. And that all costs money. And so how are the communities supposed to get reimbursed for this money? And that was the intention of the CARES Act. Congress said, we understand there's this cost. We understand the communities will need this reimbursement, and we understand it needs to get out there as quickly as possible. And the reason Plymouth County stepped to the plate to receive the $90 million is because we knew we could administer it, we could work with our local partners and work in a fashion that was expeditious, and that we would be here today, and we're thrilled to be here in Marshfield, and actually deliver a check. And so a little more than 2 months after the legislation was passed, we're here today to present a check to the town of Marshfield for $1.125 million for the costs that they incurred dealing with this pandemic. And that's momentous. It's remarkable. And I really hope that everyone understands the effort it takes to make that happen. Sure, there's a lot of effort on the county part. We couldn't do it without the commissioners and their support and their guidance. But we need those local partners. We need people that understand how to work through the process and how to make sure it happens. And we need our state partners. We need our state representative. We need our state senator to be with us to make sure we can make this happen.
Today is a historic day in the sense that this is our first offering from the CARES Act. And on behalf of the chairman, who couldn't be with us here today, I want to bring his greetings, but also want to thank our partners in government, in particular Representative Kearney and Senator O'Connor, for standing by us through the process and dealing with this situation as it unfolded. This is a time where really there was no one who had expertise because it was something that was brand new. But we knew with the team that we have assembled in the county, with the ability to transact this whole program, we found that we were going to be successful. In particular, the treasurer our treasurer is the only certified county treasurer in the Commonwealth. So when it came down to a question of whether or not we could do this program or not, knowing that Tom is going to be leading it and with Dan's guidance on interpreting the act, we thought we'd be very successful. Having said that, the town of Marshfield has to consider itself in very good hands with its leadership team, both at the selectman level, the administration level, and from the treasurer's point of view, because it was their thoroughness and their response to our 25-page application that got them their money in the quickest way. And they are to be the ones that are really congratulated on making this a success.
Just a little bit going back, I was thinking about when this first started, and we were able to get a grant for the federal grant. We knew, and we have a great team, I think, together. We support one another, and we're all on board all the time with one another, most of the time, I should say. But we knew at that time that receiving this money and giving it out to our 26 community in the city of Brockton was necessary. And we also knew that this is what we are supposed to do as county government. We are supposed to take charge. We're supposed to help our communities. And we have tried so hard in the past, and we're still trying. There are so many things, and so many towns are, none of them are alike, and we know them intimately, and we understand each one of them, I believe, and what their needs are. I want to, again, reach out and say that, I greatly appreciate Dan Pilata, our chairman, who took this and has endless hours of putting a program together, so I think everybody was able to understand it. And if they had any questions or concerns, he was there to answer anything for them. We're trying to make this as simple and as easy as possible. I think that with our team and the efforts of them, they've done a great job. And again, without Treasurer Tom O'Brien, his great leadership and his plan in putting this together and how we could distribute all this money to the towns. Greatly appreciate all of your help, all your concerns. I appreciate your support in knowing that we can be there for you, and this is what we want to do. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to the county, to the commissioners, and to the treasurer for their extraordinary effort to really get out there and go after the funding, the $90 million. It was incredible help for all the cities and towns, the one city and the towns in Plymouth County. The great thing about it is we don't have to go out and borrow the money. For the town of Marshfield, our money covers, we had to get Chromebooks and iPads for the schools, so while the kids were at home, they wouldn't get behind on their studies. We had an enormous amount of cleaning supplies. We had to make sure that fire and police officers and ambulance attendants, EMTs and paramedics had N95 masks. There was a shortage of that. We had to go out and get those. We have to have municipal buildings where our employees are working, sanitized each and every day. And we heard the money. My treasurer, Patrick Delarusso, when he called me and told me, hey, the county's getting $90 million. This is going to be fantastic for us. It was Patrick kept extraordinary records, created a COVID line item. The Board of SELECTMEN, where we were out in front of this in February, we created a task force, COVID task force. We meet every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, talk about the challenges and the needs. That was very helpful for us to stay on top of this issue. But ultimately, everything costs money. And really today, I want to applaud the efforts of each of the commissioners and the treasurer for going after the money, for making the money available to cities and towns. Our delegation, we have Best State House delegation, our State Rep Kearney and our State Senator Patrick O'Connor, for their always there and supportive. But this is great. Taxpayers are the winner. In Marshfield, we don't have to go out and get a loan to cover our expenses, and we're getting reimbursed for that. So just thank you for everyone. This is great.
So here is the check for $1.125 million to the town of Marshfield.